Welcome to the Creators MBA podcast, your go-to resource for mastering the art and science of digital product entrepreneurship. My name is Dr. Destiny Copp, and I help business owners generate consistent revenue from their digital product business without the need to be glued to their desk, constantly live launching, or worrying about the social media algorithms. I hope you enjoy our episode today. Hi there, friends. Destiny here, and welcome back to the Creators MBA podcast. And today's episode is for a very specific type of business owner. It's not for beginners. It's not for people who haven't started yet, but for business owners who have real momentum. They have offers, an audience, they have systems, and yet something still feels heavier than it should. You may be working, you may be creating new offers and putting them out into the marketplace, but you're stuck in the traditional sense. And you keep circling the same questions over and over again. If you have been telling yourself things like, I just need to think through this a little bit more, or I'll decide once I see a little bit more data, or let me fix this one thing first, and then I will focus. This episode is for you because what I want to talk about today isn't strategy, it's decision friction and why it quietly stalls growth after things start working for you. And here's something that I have learned after being in the business world for over 2 decades. Most people don't stall at the beginning. They stall after they get a little bit of traction, after they get their first wins, after that first launch, after the first audience growth, after the first taste of this could actually really work. Because that is when the real complexity shows up. Suddenly, you don't have one obvious path forward. You have several reasonably good ones. For example, you could double down on what's already selling. You could expand your offer suite. You could simplify things. You could grow your audience faster. You could optimize your funnel. You could launch again. You could stabilize before scaling. And here's the problem. All of these sound smart. So instead of choosing, most business owners try to hold on to multiple directions at once. And that is when momentum starts to fail. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack self-discipline, it's because your effort gets diluted. And from the outside, it still looks like progress, but internally, it feels like something is off. And this is where most business advice goes wrong. Most advice assumes that you have an execution problem. Sounds like I know what to do, but I'm not doing it, or I'm inconsistent, or I need better habits or systems. And sometimes these can be true for sure, but most business owners, especially experienced ones, more often than not, they have a decision problem. Sounds like I'm doing a lot, but I'm not sure it's the right thing. Or I keep revisiting the same priorities, or I'm optimizing things without confidence that they're truly the bottleneck, or I don't know what deserves my attention right here and right now. Execution problems respond to tactics. Decision problems do not. More information doesn't help you. More tools are going to help you. More frameworks are going to help you. In fact, sometimes they make it worse because every new idea becomes another possible direction. And I want to walk you through a few very common patterns I see, not necessarily to tell you what to do, but to help you recognize yourself. And pattern number one is optimizing the wrong thing. And this one is everywhere. There's a business owner who's out there. Maybe they're tweaking subject lines or playing around with their email cadence or tweaking their landing page copy. But the real issue might not be their traffic. It might not be their copy. It could be their offer or their positioning or the fact that they're trying to sell too many things at once. And from the outside, they look productive. But from the inside, it is exhausting to them. So their problem isn't effort. It's focusing on the right things. And pattern number two is launching instead of stabilizing. And this is another common one. So things that worked once, and they have proven to me to work, the instinct then is let's launch again, or let's do another push, or let's recreate that momentum. But what's missing is stability. It's that recurring revenue. It's that predictability. It's in a system that doesn't rely on constant launching. So instead of deciding to stabilize, the business owner keeps chasing the next launch. Again, not necessarily wrong, just maybe not the right thing for them. And pattern number three is growing the audience instead of fixing conversion. And this one feels very safe. I have been here myself. So if your revenue feels unstable, the default thought process is, I just need more people. I need more eyeballs on my offer. So the focus shifts to list growth, visibility, and collaborations, but often the math doesn't support that. So if your conversion or retention is broken, growth is just going to amplify that problem. And pattern number four is building systems before deciding what they are for. And this one I think is a big one with very smart, systems-oriented creators. They start building automations and dashboards and content engines before they have decided, what am I actually trying to grow here? Because systems do not create clarity for you. They amplify whatever decision you have made or haven't made. Here's why all of this matters right now. Because if you don't decide what matters for you, the quarter will decide it for you, because your calendar is going to fill up. Your inbox is going to fill up. All of those I've got to do it right now type of task are going to take over for you. And you're not going to consciously choose the wrong priorities. You're just going to keep doing what's familiar to you. And before you know it, 60 days are going to pass, 90 days are going to pass, and then you're still going to be circling the same exact questions. And that's not necessarily failure. That is just what happens when you don't have a very clear path and a decision. And that is exactly why I created the Flywheel Decision Session. This is not a program. It is not a workshop. It is not ongoing coaching, but it is a container for making one clear decision. And in this 90-minute session, we don't sit there and brainstorm endlessly. We don't map out your perfect year. We don't build a giant plan. We do three things. Number one, we pressure test what is actually driving or blocking your momentum. Number two, we identify the real bottleneck in your growth flywheel. And number three, we decide one move that matters next and what to stop touching. That is it. Because once that decision is made, everything else gets easier for you. Execution gets easier, your energy returns, your momentum compounds. And if you have been circling a decision, one that's been going over and over for you, especially as you are heading into this new quarter and new year, this is the moment, this is the session that this exists for. And I'm going to put all the details for you in the podcast show notes so you can learn more about that flywheel decision session. Before you go, I want to leave you with this. Most business owners don't choose the wrong strategy. They just never stop to choose one. And if something in today's episode felt uncomfortably familiar to you, that is not a problem. That is just awareness. And awareness is usually the first step towards clarity. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If anything resonated for you, just respond back to any of the emails that I've sent to you. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, and bye for now. Thanks for listening all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed this episode today. If you loved the show, I'd appreciate a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.